Hi, this is Joanne Kobike. I am a midlife coach and the founder of Midlife Rewritten, and I'm very happy to have Heather Joy Bassett here with me today. And we met at the World Women's Economic Forum in New Delhi a few weeks back. And Heather, I'd like to turn it over to you to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Heather Joy Bassett. I'm a transformational speaker and mentor and coach.
It's you were so inspiring at the forum. You know, you make such an imposing figure in what you call your female matrix coat. I loved that coat, that bright pink, beautiful long coat, and then and then to see you decide halfway through the forum that you were going to change your hairstyle was quite an event. So as you know, my audience is midlife women, and the purpose of these interviews is to really share women's stories about what midlife was like for them, the surprises and both the good and the bad. So perhaps you'd share a little bit of that with us.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. It's great to be here. And for me, start of midlife was probably really confronting because it was quite a dark space, and I had a lot of depression and disconnection from who I was. I sort of realized I'd been in service for my family, for my clients. I was a podiatrist, so in service to everyone, doing lots of professional development, but I was hollow and empty and disconnected. And then I went on a journey that shifted all that, which was extraordinary. And so I started to explore who I was spiritually, and I'd never understood spirituality. I started to explore sexuality in my 50s. I'm a grandma and I'm exploring sexuality. So it was just like a total mind, body, heart, soul shift in my midlife. And I'm 60 now, and I think of all the things that I didn't explore way before. The social conditioning says, you know, we don't do all that. And then to start to explore that, and then I realized most of the time I'm living a cosmically juicy life. Like, it's just that's the title of my first book. And I had, as I started to open, I had so many aha moments. It was like, oh my gosh, I understood this, I understood that. This made sense, that made sense. So I went from aha to like epic moments of realization to finally like cosmic, like mind-blowing things. So then it was like, you know, it wasn't just aha, it wasn't duh, it was like, oh wow, that's cosmic. And with that, that's where my book came from. It's like cosmic. And a friend, my sister-in-law was talking with me, and she's like, you want something like, she's like, kumquat, a kumquat, which is a small fruit. And I'm like, and she's like, you know, juicy and full and yummy and rich. And I was like, there you go. I'm living a cosmically juicy life. So I went from, I literally went from one end of like disconnected, hollow to really, really connected. And that was in my 50s. Yeah. So for your audience, you know, whatever midlife is, you can, that transition, doesn't matter what age it is, but when you're ready.
It's never too late when that realization comes to you to just go ahead and follow it. Yeah. So what was that? So what precipitated that journey that you described initially, that set you on your new path?
I met someone, a speaker, and I listened to him, and he was so connected to himself, connected to the world. And I listened to him, and my heart just started to sing. It was like, I want that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what he's got, but I wanted that. I wanted, and he was talking about Mother Earth and deep connection. And I was just like, my heart was singing, my body was vibrating, and I was like, oh man, I want that. And And then all this fear arose. It's like, will he work with me? You know, can I afford it? I was ready to pay $1 million. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
But it's like,
but I want it.
I want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since my 20s, I've always been a searcher, even since I was, you know, tiny little kid. And they had these pie charts at lots of things that I went to, whereas, you know, how do you rate your finances, your career, your family, your relationships, spirituality. And I was like, spirituality was like 0.
Wasn't on your radar at that time, huh?
Well, I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I was hospitalized many times with depression. And they would always ask what spirituality was. And I was like, I would ask everyone, what is it? People would say, oh, it might be your gardening. It might be your card making. I'm like, I know it's not that.
Yeah.
And then this guy was that. Like he was that. And spirituality isn't religion. No. And for me, it's connection. It's a deep connection to self, to the universe, to earth, to not that disconnected, hollow searching. It's home. It's really coming home for me is my definition of spirituality. And from that place, I literally started to learn a new language, like grounded. Like, what is grounded? Centered. You know, what are your intentions? Intentions, like it was like, what are you even talking about? But it was terrifying. Yeah. And so liberating and exciting at the same time.
Yeah. Wow. And so it's interesting. You talked about fear, the fear that comes up when you want to try something that's so bold and so new and so outside of your comfort zone. So how did you work through that fear?
The more and more I recognized the fear, I was just saying it. 3 years ago, I was like at the Women's Economic Forum, I was just up the back of a women's forum. There are 400 people there. And I was giving myself permission. My whole thing is permission. It was permission. So I was up the back. I got my seat down the front, put my gear there, then went up the back. And then someone walked in later and I'm like, you okay? And she's like, I don't know where to sit. And I'm like, I have the perfect spot. Took her down the front row, got all my stuff, stood up the back, and I danced and moved and cheered and laughed. And as I listened to all the stories, the same as I was doing in the Women's Economic Forum in India. And then after lunch, they came up and said, hey, can you lead us in a dance? And I was like, oh, whoa, yes. So I had 400 women. I had 90 seconds. And they came up and they said, hey, this is Helen Bassett. And she's excited because she's transitioning. And I got up and said, hey, I'm Heather Joy Bassett, not Helen. And I'm excited. I'm excited and I'm terrified. Like, don't leave out that terrified bit. Because part of me was. But as I explored, it's like and I need to finish that. Like 400 women for the first time in the day were engaged because it was about them. So they were standing up, joyous, celebrating, laughing in that 90 seconds. It's one of the highlights of my life. Just permission to move, to be, to dance, to laugh. And then they were sharing their story on Instagram because they were involved. So for me, it was giving myself permission to do this. Not my mum's permission, my dad, my daughter, anyone else's, my permission to do this. And then to really start to embrace and acknowledge my fear. Because when you're shoving it away, it just heightens it. And then it's like, there's a part of me that's really scared, and I'm going to love that part of me. And I'm going to look after that part of me, and I'm going to embrace that part of me. Because fear is also our intuition. So if we shove it down, if we're not connected and like, I'm not scared, it's like rubbish. If you're scared, you're scared.
That's right. It is. This is a fact.
You know, like it just is. Yeah. So just embrace it. Just embrace it. Just love it. Don't shove it away. And the more I embrace my fear, and then learn to witness it. So, and I've done things where like you fully express your fear. So there's one I can witness it, and just like in watching a movie myself, it's like, I'm really scared. And then there's 2 is to let it move through us, and not but shove it down, but not get lost in it either, because I got lost in it in the early days of this, and then it's like, hello, thank you for protecting me, because our fears try to protect us.
They do. That's where they stem from. That's right, that desire to protect.
It's like midlife. It's like, what are you doing? You're having one of those women midlife crisis, that you see in the movies, like, can't do that. And then it's like, yeah, you can. So I'm going to give you all permission. Yeah, you can.
Well, the thing is, it's only a crisis if you don't attend to it, right? When you have those feelings, if you can be brave enough to say, okay, as you say, to acknowledge it, and then to witness to it, and then it moves on, right? It doesn't latch on and hang on forever. And so, that's when the crisis happens, is when you don't deal with it.
It moves, and it's that fighting between, this shouldn't be happening, I shouldn't be doing this, and it's like, yeah, you should. But like, I'm not into shoulds, because shoulds is someone else's expectation. Shoulds is never our own.
That's very much the truth.
Yeah.
So since then, you've been exploring all kinds of things.
Oh, I have. So I was a podiatrist. Well, I still am a podiatrist, and I had a podiatry clinic for 35 years and 8 months, and I sold it last year.
And this was in Australia.
This is in Australia, And again, it was such a big journey, because, like, I love my clients. I'm passionate about my clients. I'm passionate about helping people with their feet. And I have literally gone from not saving souls, but healing souls, as in the bottom of your feet, to now healing souls, as in from one soul to the other soul. But also look back, for those years I was dealing with both souls anyway. And stepped into what am I here for? And the terrifying is, selling my business. I haven't had an income, and I was in the unknown of, and having to really deeply trust myself and trust this calling that I fully believed I was going to be a podiatrist till my dying days. Till my dying days, and then having to let go of that. Well, not having to, choosing and knowing that I can choose and choose again, because often we're taught, you choose this path, and that's
stay
your
on
path, and it's like,
and
it's like, no, I'm choosing and choosing and choosing, and then to share my struggles, and to share the outcome of the cosmic juicy of 3 years ago, 4 months in a psych ward, and being discharged and told, we can't help you. And I thought my life was over, and then beginning to explore things that I once would have called voodoo, woodoo, or like
all that weird stuff,
wrong, like sexuality, like can't do that, and then it's like, you can. You can, redefining the rules, giving ourselves permission to look at, what makes us alive, what brings us joy, what makes us feel. Because often midlife crisis stuff is, what do you feel? Numb, sad, disconnected, and they're all feelings, and they're just there to say, guess what? Look left, or look right, or look above, or take have a look around. Take the blinkers off. It's like, oh, this is life. And then it's like, oh,
look, there's more stuff over here. Look at this. Well, it's true. We spend that early part of our life seeking to do what's right, seeking to do what we're supposed to, what everybody tells us we're supposed to do. So we kind of move along those steps, and we do those things, and somewhere along the way we lose that joy and that love of life and that spontaneity and that ability to be flexible and to kind of roll with the punches, and we get just like locked into that path.
I think we want to fit in. We want to fit in, and that's normal.
It is, especially when you're younger.
Point that I wanted to fit in out there. Out there, but then I'm like, oh, I actually need to fit in here.
Right. That's the most
in this, and then when I fit in here, then I fit in with those vibrating and those around me that get me, and those that didn't, never did, never will, and that's okay.
That's okay.
They're not meant to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. So it's kind of been a gradual change, a learning process for you to kind of let go of those things, all those, like you say, those shoulda, woulda, coulda things, and just unload that baggage for yourself so that you can be free.
Yeah. And to get that freedom was me speaking my truth.
Yeah.
It was me speaking my truth, but with love and compassion.
Yeah. With
love and compassion, because one of the other things that transitioned me was someone saying to me, "You're being bullied." Now, for a lot of people, that would be a meltdown moment, but for me, it was a joyous moment to be able to see, yeah,
that's
cool.
What's going on here.
That's what's going on here. So now I can unpack that, explore that, understand that, and recognize and take ownership, because it's like, I did that. I created that whole scenario, and I co-created it. But then forgiving ourselves, forgiving myself for what I'd created, and then taking responsibility, then I started to get back my voice. Because 3 years ago, I was working, in hospital, drinking, sleeping. That was my daily thing. And so to think, well, I'm traveling the world now. I'm speaking, and all of that shifted because I spoke my truth with love and compassion. And when you do that, it's like, it's the biggest unburdening, freeing, liberating thing that can never happen. To be really honest with yourself. To be really honest about what I'm thinking, about what I'm feeling, about what I need, about what I desire. And often in midlife crisis, someone say, "What do you need?" And I'm like,
I don't know. I never thought about it.
Is that a thing? Like,
I can actually need something?
Yeah, I can need something. What do you desire? Desire? Like,
that doesn't fit into my life. Desire? I don't desire things. How do I?
Yeah. What do I want? And I'd even taught my kids, they'd say something and I'd say, I actually thought wanting was something wrong. So it's like, that was a total head, like, I'm allowed to want things?
But we're
I'm allowed to desire?
Not to do those things, right? Because that gets in the way of our being in service for everybody else.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, truly, I believe that's kind of what that is.
And for me, it's so important. Like, I'm here to be in service. Even now, I'm here to be in service. But I'm here to be in service after and with and beside being in service to myself. Because otherwise, we're in service and we're hollow, we're empty, we're disconnected. It's really hard to give from that place.
It is.
But
it's hard to give.
But then I also disrupted that thought, because as I connect to Mother Earth, to the mother that I am, the mother, then Mother is full. Mother is constantly full. Mother is able to give for eternity. And so there's a fullness. I don't really believe in that emptiness. At the same time, I think that's also it's reality and illusion. But I also understand the incredible importance of filling ourselves up, of really honouring ourselves and our needs and our wants and our desires at the same time.
You were saying, when you're disconnected, then you're not able to be full, right? Then you're empty and it never gets refilled because you're not connected to that source. So that's the difference, I think.
And for often, yes, absolutely. And then for many of us, we're really good if we get to that crisis point, which is, and just know that it's perfect. Oh, it's so exciting when we get to that point, because there's new things awaiting. So it's not the doomsday thing.
Yeah.
But from that, I got so excited about that. What were we saying before that? I got so excited that I missed the bit that I was going to.
Well, let's see. We were talking about being disconnected. We were talking about the fact that we're not used to being able to want something or desire something.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a gem there, but it's not meant to be.
It'll
It's
come
not
back.
meant to be. But yeah, that crisis is because out of the chaos, if you get one of the big things that I was continually saying, which I made wrong. It's like, I can't go on like this. I can't do this. I can't. And then, but they're great statements like, I can't go on like this. Oh, and if I didn't make that a wrong statement and made it a really powerful statement, it's like, oh, yeah, I can't go on like this. So, how can I go on?
Yeah.
How can, like, what's next?
Exactly.
So, yeah, out of that chaos, always we need to go to that chaos.
Yes.
Usually to make that change, to
Yes.
go,
Most people.
all right,
You have to
take those blinkers off.
walk
Like,
into the muck and figure it out, and then come out the other side. But it's just it's so scary. It's very hard to do unless you have some life event just basically throws you in there, and you have to deal with it. That's usually how that happens.
And the big thing that I share all the time now is you don't have to do alone. And I did a lot of it alone.
That's right.
But then it's like, you don't have to. Like, there are coaches, there are mentors.
Yeah.
And again, that's one of the reasons I share this stuff, because like, don't do it alone. You can. But we actually don't need.
Why do that to yourself, right?
Yeah. But when we're in that disconnected space, we think we're the only one, we're the only one doing this and the only one doing that. It's like, hello. No, there's a few million of us out here.
The same thing. It's a human condition is really what it is. So what was it like once you started to make these significant changes in your being and your way of thinking? How did the people around you respond, the people that were closest to you?
Well, that was the gem bit. The gem bit's supposed to come now.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of the time I thought I was protecting my family by not speaking about the bullying. I thought I was protecting my loved ones by keep doing the same thing. And what I realized is that they were getting the ripples of me of not being me, of not connecting to myself. So all of these, feeling responsible for the family, feeling responsible for my clients, feeling responsible for a lot of us, that's part of that crisis. It's like, because we have pet people depending on us. And again, it's a beautiful space that keeps us safe. But the thing is, as everything disrupted in my mind, in my body, in my life, then everyone else got the ripples. But what they got was they got the ripples of permission to be them too. They get the permission to speak about what they need, about what they desire, about what fills them up, about what's not working in their life. So as a vibration, and I wouldn't have even used the term vibration 3 years ago, but as my vibration shifts and changes, then so does everyone else. So the freedom and the things that I learned, and even with my team, the amount that they started to be vulnerable and open and honest with me as a boss, like what I learned that, I thought was going really well. There were things that weren't, but all this, it's like an iceberg on top. It's fine.
Well, it's nice and happy, but down here, there's like a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, it's deep and it's murky and it's wide and it's big. So that as we step into that permission space, then everything shifts around us, which is beautiful. Chaotic a little. Chaos is cool.
It can be tough. Cool. I mean, not everybody's ready at the same time as you are.
No, but vibrationally, the oneness of when you start to be connected, then whether they're ready or not, then they shift, because they can't. When someone shifts, everyone else shifts around them. Some just have more resistance to that shift.
That's true.
Because it's like, whoa, this is a bit scary. I don't want to go there.
What is that?
Like, I know, but you're going there anyway.
But I'm going, so you're coming with me. And
that's a beautiful other segue. Often when we're going through this, like, I wanted to drag everyone with me. And then I wanted everyone else to change. But then I realized that's not good to drag people with me. But what happens is they get to come with us on the journey anyway.
They choose. That's right.
But you don't actually have to drag them along and go, oh, you need to do this too, and
Yeah.
do this, and because
Yeah.
that's what I was doing. Like everyone else needed to come do it as well. And it's like, no,
That's right.
the more I be, then the more everyone else just automatically does it without me having to do anything to make them be.
Yeah.
So if we look at in India, just my being in my joy space, then other people, I didn't have, well, there were times I invited people to like come dance and things.
Yeah.
But as I be that, then the room just becomes that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think when they see it and they experience it, then they have a choice, right? If you're
Yes.
trying to say, okay, I figured out all these great things and now I want you to figure them out, and you push it on them and you put it on, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. But when you just are an expression of that and they see that, and just like the way you saw it in that man that started that transformation for you, they say, I want that. Whatever that is she's got, I want that. And then they come, they're attracted. And that's the way you want them, is to be attracted, not pulled in.
And in this moment, I realized it's the joy. He had joy. Part of this awakening, part of this consciousness is a joy space. And joy is magnetic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like magnetic. People are drawn towards that. Oh,
sure. People want joy.
I want that.
They want more joy in their life.
You want that.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Totally.
That's so exciting. So what is it that's happening with you now? So over the 3 years, you divested yourself of a lot of stuff, physical and emotional, and you started out on that journey. And how did you transform? So you've used the word transform a couple of times, or transition, I guess. And you want to talk about that sense of transition for you?
If I look at where I was 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months, it's like on this trajectory of continual change. As I'm aware, then I become less and less burdened, more awakened, more enlightened, more self, more able to serve, more full. And I literally sat on my bed, it's around a year ago, and sent out to the universe. And I never ask, I wasn't connected to, some people call it spirit, God. And I put out and said, okay, what am I here for? What's the legacy? What's my disruptive idea? Because I've let go of everything, like so many things, my relationship, my business, friendships, many things. Like, what am I here for? And I got an instant download, SPRUTH, SPRUTH.
That's right.
And I was like, great, thank you. What is it?
What is that?
Great, what is that? And then when I put SPRUTH with speaking truth with love and compassion, it's like, whoa. The thing that all my transformations happen is when I speak stuff, not when I write in a journal, not when I think stuff. It's when I give myself permission to be really safe, be really honest with my thoughts, be really honest with how it makes me feel in my body. Is my tummy clenched? Is my shoulders clenched? Is my yoni pulsating? Like, what is going on in my body? And then speak about what I need, what I desire, what I feel, what I think, what I want. Then that's where all those transformations happen every time. And then I have this cosmic, oh, wow, I get it. That makes sense. From there are possibilities, constant possibilities. And it's like, that's what I'm here to bring the world. I'm here to bring the world possibilities. Yeah. And the possibilities, when we create a safe space, like you're creating with the women here, like with our sisters, we're creating a safe space to be really honest. Yeah. A permission space to go, this is what's happening for me. Yeah. And from that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to bring to. And it's not only for women, for me, it's for everyone. Yeah. If I give myself permission, then my son has permission, then my grandson has permission, then my dad has permission, then my partners have permission. Yeah. It's that permission to, and speaking truth isn't about you, they, them, society, government, them. No, SPRUTH is me, is me. It's the permission to do I, because the more I give myself permission to be fully me, to understand me, to explore me, the more I connected I am. And then the bigger the bigger connection I have with the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The deeper my connections are with my family, with my friends, with my loved ones, the more people I can love.
Mm-hmm.
It's glorious.
It is. It's a constant unfolding. Like,
Yeah.
as you describe it, you experience something, you understand something, you share it, and it opens yet another door for you. And so there are these continual revelations that sound to be happening.
Yeah, so I coach at a book writing retreat, and we call ourselves the Onion Family. Because
it's just like peeling back.
So yeah, I used to be Grandma Onions, and they're like, oh, yeah, and I'm like, I am a grandma, but yeah, you're way too young for Grandma Onions.
Yeah.
So it's Auntie Onions. We haven't come up with the next one, but it is that constant, and even and in midlife, where there's so many layers of what we can do.
Yeah.
Because we've lived so much life, so we can do so many things. There's so many things we can be of service, and then there's so many layers of, oh, there goes another layer, there goes another layer.
Yeah,
and some people call it the veils. It's like, or it's like glasses. It's like, oh, there goes that filter, there goes that filter.
Yeah.
There goes that filter.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another filter, and the world just becomes bigger and brighter and more joyous and more connected. And it's like, yeah, so it's this never unfolding, and, a year ago I thought, oh, totally transformed, and then now I realize, I'm just going to be transforming forever.
Yes, it's joyous. I mean, it makes you jump out of the bed every day, wondering what wonderful thing am I going to experience? What's going to happen today?
And that's true, but there are also some days I still wake up and it's like, what am I here for?
Yeah.
What am I here for? So, and I'm cool with feeling angry because they're my boundaries, they're my clarity. I'm cool with feeling sad because that's the empath, the lover, the connector. I'm cool with feeling fear because that's my intuition, my guidance, and I'm cool with feeling joy. So I have my SPRUTH. My SPRUTH is, I don't wake up every morning and just jump out of bed. There are sometimes I lay in bed and I'm like, oh, I'm in a funk, and it's like, I'm a really funky grandma.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm in a funk and it's like, oh, and that's it. That's a space to go, oh, cool. Where am I not spruthing?
All right. What is this?
Where am I? What is it that I'm not being honest with myself?
Yeah. Well,
so I don't live on this, my vibration is high all the time, and then I'm human, so there's day and night.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
It's not like
I need this
picnic and a bunch of roses and cupcakes every day, but the joy of life. And the thing is,
it underpins it all.
Yeah. The other thing too, I think is, have you learned that? So how does uncertainty fit into your life now?
Oh my God. I love that. So one of my coaches for a year, he's like, you have to have certainty. 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 Your audience wants certainty. And I was like, oh. And then it was like, you're absolutely right. I have absolute certainty in my uncertainty.
That there's nothing is certain. Yeah, exactly.
I have absolute certainty that this uncertainty is taking me exactly where I need to go. I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you're right. I have certainty. I have certainty that this crazy path of unknowing and like, where am I going to be with next week? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have a flight out of here for another 2 weeks. Like, where am I going to be in 3 months? I don't know. And it's like, and I have absolute certainty that that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
That's okay, right?
It's totally okay. So being certain that uncertainty is is good.
Yeah.
Is like, can you see my joy? It's like, I have certainty in my uncertainty. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. That's that's one of, I think, the hardest hurdles to get over, is that acceptance of uncertainty. Because from the very beginning, we seek to be certain about our surroundings, our relationships, that we're going to have food on the table, all of that. It's important to us in that early stage. But as time goes on and you have more life experience and you're stronger in yourself, you realize that, hey, I don't have to be certain about every single little thing. I can move with the flow and I can open up to accept what's going to happen. But it's challenging. There are times, I'm sure, even,
Yeah.
you know, for all of us, when we would kind of like to know where we're going to be next week.
Well, yeah,
what's
you
going to
know,
be happening.
absolutely. It's like, you know, how am I keeping my roof over my head in the next whatever? And then as I tap into that connectedness, when has the world not provided?
Yeah.
When you tap into the connectedness, we think of all the trials and things. There has always been ground underneath my feet. There has always been loved ones around, even when I'm disconnected with them. Like, there is such an abundance of the world when I recognize that fear and then go, when has the world not provided?
Yeah.
It always has.
Yeah.
There's always,
Right.
and it's like stepping off this cliff. Like, I literally sold my business and stepped, and I couldn't see, but even when I stumble and fall, Mother Earth always is there under my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It may not look the way we think. I think that's
never. Just get up. You know,
that's right. You got to give up that part, right?
Like, yeah. That's
you
that
uncertainty. Give up that.
It's like, yeah.
That you know, but that's the control issue, right? We want to have control, so we want things to be the way that we want them, and so we make ourselves miserable about that. And if we can just give up that control to the outcome and just, you know, be more in the flow, it takes a lot of stress away.
That's the like flow, because I'm a Libra and I spent years trying to find balance in my life, and you know, there was always this tipping point of like black, white, white, joy, depressed, and now it's like, and for me now it's like, I don't want balance in my life, in my bank account maybe, but no, I just want flow. I just want to be able to flow from the deep dark chaos of like, where am I, to the joy and flow. So you know, once I gave up the illusion of balance, then it's like, oh, that's good,
I'm free.
I can flow. I can flow.
Wow, this has been so much fun, Heather. It's really great.
It has.
To see you again. You have, you know, as your name implies, you have such joy for life, you know, and it's great.
I do.
It's great. So you think you'll be around in this area for a while anyway? So
I'm in Seattle. They're trying to set me up on a whole lot of dates, which is really funny. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here in Seattle with some really big change makers who are, and I'm part of a collective that shares social change stories and innovations globally that reaches millions of people. So I'm gathering with different people here, and just again, connectedness is my highest strength. So well, I don't plan, as you know.
Well, that's true.
They plan, and I just
maybe they're planning.
I'm not that big planner, but they're doing the planning. I'm just rocking up and being here for our 8 o'clock call. But just being open, being open to, okay, I'm going to meet people that are going to be part of my next step. I don't need to know what that next step is. I'm in Seattle and open to meeting and trusting. And that's the big thing in this whole thing, sisters, ladies, women, just trust.
Yeah.
And the big thing is not trust out there, but it's trusting yourself. You know, like, women are so wise and so deep.
It's true.
We know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, you know some of your answers.
Yeah.
And then it's that really big trusting ourselves.
Yeah.
It really is trusting ourselves, and then trusting the universe around us.
Yeah. That's true. That is so true. All right. Well, thank you again so much. I really appreciate you taking time to speak with me, and it's just great to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and thank you for this space, and thank you for what you're offering the world and offering our sisters. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, Heather, you take care now.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. As a thank you for being here, I'd like to offer you my Glorious Second Act Workbook and Planner. It's a great tool to help you gain clarity on what it is you want next in your life and to develop a plan to get you there. It's a totally free gift. The link is down below, so click the link, download your planner, and get started, taking action and creating a new and exciting second half to your life. I'm Joanne Kobike, your midlife coach. Stop by again for another episode of Modern Midlife. See you next time.